Me torturaba con esta película. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Clint
He used to
Eastwood.
torture me with
Ah,
that.
de Clint
So
Eastwood.
now,
Yeah.
if we're gonna talk about
The
a movie,
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
if we're gonna talk about a
Over
movie with
and
Clint
over.
Eastwood, Unforgiven. Talk about Unforgiven. Come on, brother, I'm with you.
Dude, bro.
I'm with you. Unforgiven. Now, here's the thing.
We're brothers from another mother with a different
We are.
mother.
We are. Now, here's the thing. This is what's funny about Clint Eastwood. I actually set up one day on my phone. I don't know why, but I read the entire Wikipedia bio of Clint Eastwood.
It's incredible.
I read the entire thing.
Wow.
Now, the thing about Clint Eastwood in this
Estamos
movie,
hablando de
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood.
Clint
The
Eastwood.
thing about Clint Eastwood is that when you think about his most recent work, when you think about, I don't know, $1 Million Baby,
to write to my
when you
dad.
think about Gran Torino, when you
Mule.
think about Heartbreak Ridge, when you think about
Oh,
Mule,
Heartbreak
And
Ridge.
the-
Great
serious-
army movie.
which one?
No, that one was not by him. 007?
No, man.
No.
That's somebody else.
But Clint Eastwood movie making, when you
Hello?
go back,
No,
if
pero
we're
eso
going to
está
go
chévere,
back,
porque, mira,
Buenas tardes,
perdón.
guys.
You represent the ones that are watching, que no saben lo que estamos hablando. Entonces, ahora tú lo que haces es que tú te aprendes y la vas a ver. Entonces nos dice la próxima vez, you tell us next time what you thought, if we were right or not.
Yeah.
True or not true?
it's okay. Your ideas are shooting us into the other topics that we need to talk into.
Okay.
So I'm
Acuérdate que
okay
este
with it.
Royalty Barber Salon. So aquí la que
Right.
mandar es todo.
Salón.
But yeah, Clint Eastwood has just been making, directing, producing, starring in, writing movies for so long, and they've been so good. You know, when you talk about, if we're going to talk about the 90s movies first, Unforgiven was a wonderful movie. And Clint Eastwood got his start in Western movies. That's what he
Morgan
did.
Freeman.
Dirty Harry, right? Was it?
Gene Hackman.
even before that. Oh,
Gene
that's
Hackman.
God.
Huh.
Gene Hackman.
Mira, si mi papá está mirando, my father is probably the
Wait a minute.
biggest.
Hold on.
Gene Hackman.
When we're talking about Gene
Clint
Hackman,
Eastwood
wait a
fan.
minute.
No, my dad's the biggest Clint Eastwood fan and a
Yeah.
Western fan. I mean, my dad,
Okay,
you
wait.
put any Western on.
Okay, so Gene Hackman, you reminded me.
Oh my
Because
God.
that is
yeah.
one of my favorite actors too.
Well,
Enemy of the State.
Enemy of the State, that was what was Enemy of the State might have been late 90s. I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
1999, I
he
think.
did a bunch
But
of
even before then,
99.
my favorite Gene Hackman movie is with him and Denzel Washington and another all-star cast, Crimson Tide.
Oh my God.
Crimson Tide. That movie,
It's a great movie.
the struggle, the battle of power on the seas, when you have a potential
little
drill.
dog, the little dog.
Yeah. When you have a potential drill
You saw that
that
movie?
you don't
Crimson
know if it's serious or not, if it's real or not, you know, and then a mutiny is
Estaba
created
en un
on the water.
submarino. It was a military movie.
You know,
¿Tú la viste,
so-
Crimson Tide?
Creo que sí.
Let me ask you guys this. Was this?
Then I gotta tell you something about that movie.
I don't remember if it's in the 90s or not. The Rock.
Saludos a todos.
Yes. Sean Connery,
My God,
Nicolas
Sean Connery.
Cage, Ed Harris,
Oh
Pero
my
mira.
God. Jesus.
Bokeem Woodbine.
Oh my God,
my
that
God,
movie
Yeah,
just so many people.
I don't know if you heard this little trivia. On Crimson Tide, they called Quentin Tarantino, and todavía no estaba, like, he wasn't like super famous yet.
Uh-huh.
They called him to direct the scene. You gotta hear the story, because I've seen the interviews. And he got into it with Denzel.
Really?
Because you know that Tarantino, él hace películas donde dicen cosas, he wanted him to use the N-word,
Mm-hmm.
and Denzel said, no, I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to do it.
Wow, I didn't know
And then they
that.
got into it, and he stuck to his guns.
I did
and
not
said,
know that.
I don't want to do that. Because he said it, and look, they never used it.
Right.
Because,
And
and
you
the
didn't-
movie still worked.
That's why when you think about the movie,
Yeah.
you don't
Makes no
need
sense.
that word
So
doesn't
that-
have to bring credibility
Right,
to
right,
any
right.
scene in that
So,
movie.
but he was
doesn't.
gonna, put his style. Quentin Tarantino has a certain style. But it would
Yeah, a
change.
Django style.
Yeah, Django style. Which it called for it
Yes.
because in that time,
Right.
that's how it was. But this movie had nothing to do with really race. It wasn't really a race
Right.
movie. It
It
was more
wasn't.
about power, about
Right. It was-
chain
yeah.
of command.
Chain of command, exactly.
Like what happens when you don't obey a command.
Right.
Tú sabes,
Right.
that you know is gonna save. Es como, por ejemplo, cuando pasó lo de los Nazis, when the Nazis, right? A lot of the soldiers said, well, hey, They told me to do. I'm a soldier. They told me to do what I did, so I exterminated Jews.
Right.
Like, at what point do you take orders, or you do what your heart says?
But not only
Even if
that,
you're a soldier.
And in reference to that, this is the part where I look and I really relate to it, because it shows you how it's supposed to go when you have a high-ranking official doing something that is not right. And then the next in command, the next in charge, it's up to you to take over and relieve that person of their duties. That is how that is supposed to go when you look at it. That's why I mentioned the word mutiny, because there was an uprising between two of the same forces. So you're here, I'm going to take my crew and I'm going to battle you, and I'm going to take my crew and I'm going to battle you, and we are on the same team. But you being the admiral of the ship and me being the second in command, I can't let you go on with doing something that we have not gotten approval to do. They were waiting for the orders, not orders, but it was a message, and the message was incomplete. They had to get the complete message, because if they didn't get the complete message and they fired, they would have started a war if they were not supposed to fire. So then Gene Hackman's character was
and
like
a nuclear war.
a nuclear war, exactly. That was a nuclear sub.
Era un submarino nuclear.
Right. So Gene Hackman was ready, like, yo, we're gonna do it. It's our job. It's our responsibility. Denzel was like, it's our responsibility to get the information right first and then do it. Well, we're wasting precious time. We can't do it. Okay, listen. We'll get this. We'll get comms up. When we get the communication center up, then we'll figure it out. But you can't jump the gun. And he really wanted to. He say, okay, well, you know what? Since that's how you want to do that, I'm gonna relieve you of command. You know, and then that's when you have the other guys that was on Gene Hackman's side. He got word to one guy and he said, hey, go find a few guys that you know is going to be on my side, and then come back and get me. And then we're going to get our ship back, you know. And then they do that stuff, you know.
And you could use that in any context. It could
Any
be
context.
office politics.
Any context.
It could be the barbershop. God
Any
forbid.
context.
You know, those things have, look, even me, like in music, I'm a musical director, right? Let's say we're rehearsing. And you say, and I say, look, guys, we're going to do this. But then Eva comes and tells me, Eric, if you do that, so I'm sorry, I'm going to give you my opinion, but if you're going to do that, it's going to sound this, and then you know what's going to happen, va pasar esto. And I go, no, because I'm the director, and I'm going to do like this. There's times you got to do that, because you got to believe in yourself as a leader.
Right, right.
But there's times that you have to listen and say, you know what, I'm going to break down my pride. And it's happened to me. It happens to all of us.
Right.
Look, even, you know, when we rehearse at church, sometimes
you know
there's
what?
things that the pastor says, no, Eric, let's do it, let's finish like this. And inside, I'm like, let's do it, let's try it.
I'm going to tell you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that comes with pride.
Right.
So Gene Hackman had pride.
Right.
And thank God that last minute, you know, because of everything that happened, he could, it was going to be a nuclear war. It would have been World War III.
I wanna elaborate with that, because something happened with our team when we were during Christmas. You know, they said I had projected to be working till 7, and both of the guys said, hey, you know, just a suggestion. You know, I want to leave at 6. I don't want to be here stuck. You know, I have a family, and you know, I believe that a good leader will listen to his team. You know, and say, you know what, it's true. You know, like. We have lives too, you know. Even though we want to project to give the best service to the clients, and you know, you want to run the business and all that is fine, but at the end of the day, you have to. When your team talks, it's because, you know, and they don't really, like, you know. I believe that they don't really, like. They don't say when it's, hey, something bothers them, or they have their opinion, but when they do, you have to listen. And that's one thing that I learned from being a leader with our team. You know, when the guys say, hey, look, I'm gonna leave at 6, you know, I want to spend time with my family. I was like, that's more important than anything, you know.
And it happens in relationships. It happens
I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, no, it happens in relationships. It happens at home.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, what I say, and it's like that.
Es lo que yo diga.
Yeah.
So since
Yeah.
it's what I say, it's time to go.
It's time to go. It's time to go.
Guys,
It's time to go.
Look, real
It's
quick
time to
before
go.
we finish, just because I have a couple suggestions they wrote to me, I just want to mention them. We don't have to get into them.
right?
They're really not exactly 90s, but they were like 89 and like 2001. So tan ahí mismo.
Right.
There was a movie that my brother and I used to watch
They
all
call
the
those the
time.
ends of the bread.
Huh?
Let's call those movies the ends of the bread.
Right.
It's still
It
a
was a
part of the
movie.
bread, but it's just a piece that nobody
It was
really
a
eats.
movie that Eddie Murphy, but it wasn't like the famous ones. It was called Harlem Nights.
Oh,
Oh
nice.
my God.
Yo me
Come on,
aprendí.
bro.
I learned all the dialogue from the first scene to like half the movie.
My God, that movie.
And my brother Jordan, that's watching, he would make me do it. I was like 9 or 10. I learned every way. You know that
What
movie
movie
was.
do you like?
Me?
And I would do all the characters.
I don't know if it's a
From the
And my
90s?
brother,
No,
if you
I
ever,
don't know if it's a
in
90s
fact,
movie.
there's I'm not gonna
Twilight.
say the word, but there's a word that
There
to
was a
this
movie
day
where
we
he
call
was
each
like
other.
little, and he
It was
trying to
called
steal a
Janky
diamond.
something.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
like a baby.
In the beginning?
He wasn't a baby boy. He
We
was
call
a
each
baby.
other Jank.
That's
Hey,
what I
Janky,
know him.
Janky, you know.
So let me point this out. Let me see if you knew this. Okay, and I just don't touch on it for a minute since you brought it up. When we're talking about Eddie Murphy, and we're talking about Harlem Nights.
Coming to America.
Remember Della Reese in Harlem Nights, right?
Right.
He fights her.
All right. He fights her, right? Do we remember the movie Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence?
Yes.
Martin Lawrence.
Okay, so remember when he was fighting Goldmouth?
Right.
Eddie Murphy was fighting Goldmouth, and Goldmouth hit him, and Eddie Murphy went on the ground, and Eddie Murphy got up, and Eddie Murphy said, "That's all you got?" He said, "I know a B named Della that hit harder than you." Did you know that was a reference to
the movie.
Della Reese in Harlem Nights?
Ooh.
Because remember, Della Reese knocked him out.
Yeah, but then he shot her.
Shot her in the pinky toe. But when he got up, he said, "Man, I know a B named Della that hit harder than you."
That's how
He
we-
was
but like the
referring
Harlem
to
Nights.
Wow.
Della Reese
Yes,
in
yes.
Harlem Nights.
That movie
Wow.
was so funny.
And on that note,
and you know what? And you know what? Eddie Murphy doesn't consider that one of his. He didn't like. He directed it.
He
He
did.
directed Richard Pryor, Red Fox. Y la última película que mi hermano me dijo was Training Day.
Oh.
Was like 2001, 2000.
That's Denzel
Which
Washington.
Training Day we could spend a whole podcast
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about.
Oh yeah.
we also forgot Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
Oh,
Pulp Fiction.
my God,
Oh, so
yes.
much.
John
Escríbanos.
You guys said
Escríbanos.
Silence of the Lambs.
No,
Oh,
no,
my God.
no.
90s was a
We
great
never
movie.
said no romantic movie. You guys are so.
Sleepless
oh
in
my
Seattle.
God.
He said it.
You know what?
Sleepless
I
in
did
Seattle.
Sleepless in
Oh.
Seattle.
With Meg Ryan and
And,
Tom
Tom
Hanks.
Hanks.
Okay.
Well, guys, this
So-
concludes the end of the podcast.
Strength of a
Esto
Woman.
concluye
And
American
final
Beauty,
de este
1999.
podcast.
Kevin
So-
Spacey.
you guys have any
Right now,
suggestions
I know, right?
on topics that you want to hear on the podcast? Just write us to thenexusradio@gmail.com, and thank you for tuning in, and thank you
Gracias.
for all your suggestions.
And next week we're gonna have a guest as well.
Yes, we are. Next
Well,
week.
So
Bueno, next week, yo estoy en New Jersey, pero bueno,
Yeah.
we're gonna do something.
Yeah. We're gonna do maybe a pre-recording, or we're gonna figure it out. But we do have a guest, and we'll get back into you.
Gracias
Thank
a
you.
todos por mirar.
thank you.
Thank you,
Bendecido a
D, for
todos.
being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Darius,
sir.
man, awesome,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Awesome having you, man.
Yes, great, wonderful.
Wow.
Yes.
Thanks to Jeremy too, the tech man.
Jeremy,
Thank you.
He's,
can do the
he's
honors and
behind
go.
the camera.
We'll see you next week.
this is the Nexus. Todo de la pantalla.
I want to be